Have you ever wondered why men crave the woman who doesn't need them? Picture her as the moon above the ocean. She shines whether the water rises or falls. She does not lean forward to catch the tide. She does not beg to be adored. She simply is, and her being pulls the sea without a word. Men look up, puzzled and stirred, and some feel an ache they cannot name. It is not hunger for what she gives. It is hunger to find in themselves what her stillness suggests. This is not a trick. This is not coldness. This is not the game of withholding. This is the rhythm of the dark feminine, the part of the feminine that faces night without blinking. It is not the part that pleases. It is the part that belongs to itself. It is the part that has looked at the shadow and said, "Sit here. Be seen." In the language of Carl Jung, this is the inward work that brings home what was exiled, the grief, the rage, the longing, the power. When this woman walks, she is not trying to be chosen. She has already chosen herself. And something in a man senses a doorway he has not yet opened within his own soul. He does not crave her because she needs nothing. He craves her because she does not trade her center for a smile. Her no does not come from fear. Her yes does not come from pressure. She is the ease of someone who has made friends with her own depth. In a world that rewards masks, her honest face feels like rain after drought. The ego in a man wants to be necessary to feel big. The self inside him, the truer, deeper center, wants to stand next to someone who is already whole. That second hunger is quieter, but stronger. It is the call of individuation, the journey to become a full human being. To understand this pull, imagine the boy inside the man. Some boys were taught that love must be earned. Some learned to do tricks for approval. Some learned to rescue to be seen. Some learned to keep silent to stay safe. Later, the man finds a woman who folds herself small, and he feels tall but strangely tired. Another day, he meets a woman who refuses to fold, and something wakes up like a lion stirred by the smell of dawn. It is not conquest that calls him. It is memory. It is the memory of a promise that life once made to him, the promise that he could become more than an actor on a stage. Projection is the mirror that first confuses this urge. In Carl Jung's language, a man carries an inner feminine image, his anima, made of his first loves, his first storms, and all the women he has not truly met inside himself. He paints this image on a woman's face. He imagines she is softness when she is steel. He imagines she is a healer when she is simply honest. He imagines she is salvation when she is a person. The woman who does not need him is a poor canvas for these dreams. She refuses to be the screen for someone else's movie. That refusal hurts the ego that wants a story, but it calls forth the man who wants a life. You might think the draw is simple scarcity, what is less available seems more valuable. Brains do play tricks like that. A locked gate looks golden to a restless mind. But beneath that trick, a deeper law is working. People respect what respects itself. People feel safe near those who have clear lines. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors with handles. This woman's boundaries are not barbed wire. They are a hand placed gently on the heart that says, this space is cared for. Men do not crave pain. They crave the medicine that comes from a person who treats their own soul like a sacred room. That medicine tastes like truth. There is a place where trauma and lure often become tangled. A nervous system that grew up in chaos can mistake adrenaline for love. Intermittent attention, hot one day, cold the next, can feel like home to someone who learned to chase. This is the anxious avoidant trap, one runs, one follows, then they switch. The woman who doesn't need anyone does not play this dance. She is not the cold cliff or the hot stage light. She is a steady fire. She doesn't punish with silence or seduce with storms. She shows up, then returns to herself. Her constancy breaks the loop. It is not the thrill of danger that draws a man, it is the peace of a lighthouse that refuses to go out when waves get loud. Look at her shadow work. Not a fancy term, just a brave habit. Shadow work is turning toward the room inside that has no windows and lighting a candle. It is letting anger speak without letting it drive the car. It is letting grief lay its head in her lap and breathe. It is letting jealousy be a teacher, not a thief. She does not shame her darker feelings, she names them. The naming removes their teeth. A person who carries their darkness like a lantern is hard to scare and hard to sway. She is not captured by flattery or frightened by rejection. This unsettles the part of a man that keeps score. It awakens the part of him that wants to stop counting and start living. People often ask, what is the dark feminine? Think of winter as much as spring. Think of the night that helps the seed gather strength. Think of the mother who says no because the child needs sleep. Think of the queen who waits, who watches, who speaks last. This energy is not cruel. It is clear. It does not seek to be liked. It seeks to be true. It does not break hearts, it breaks illusions. It does not pull men into addiction, it pulls men into adulthood. It says, meet your own soul first, then knock at my door. You may recognize the opposite posture in your own body. Maybe your fingers shake when a message goes unanswered. Maybe your stomach flips when someone turns away. Maybe your voice grows sweet and smaller than your truth. The body is not broken for this. The body learned to protect. If this is familiar, watch the breath like a simple friend. Count 4 in, 6 out. Place a hand on the chest and name what is afraid. Say, a part of this heart is scared to be alone. Then tell that part, alone is not the same as abandoned. Alone is where roots grow. When you reparent your own trembling, the need that used to pull others tight will return to your own warm hands. This is where Stoic wisdom becomes soft and useful. The ancient lesson, care about the choice, not the weather. Control what can be controlled, attention, words, actions. Release what cannot be controlled, another person's pace, past, or path. A woman who does not need a man releases what is not hers to carry. She does not try to fix a storm in his sky. She wipes her own windows and sweeps her own floor. Paradox blooms here, the less she tries to control him, the more his true self wants to be near. Freedom is fragrant. People move toward air. The ego is a small manager inside everyone. It organizes, protects, squeezes. It craves gold stars. It wants applause. The self is the cathedral behind it, the sky above it. The ego needs proof. The self needs presence. A man who chases the woman who does not need him is often trying to feed the ego at first. If she, who is so complete, chooses me, I must be special. But if he stays near long enough, another invitation appears. If I, who have worked so hard, become still, maybe I will meet myself. The chase flutters. The pilgrimage begins. Notice the dance of language. Some like to say masculine and feminine as if they belong to genders. Carl Jung would whisper that these are energies found in every person. The feminine is the flow, the open palm, the depth, the fertile dark. The masculine is the frame, the sword that cuts away lies, the straight road, the mountain. When the dark feminine stands in healthy power, the immature masculine either breaks or bows. The mature masculine rises. It does not want to conquer. It wants to protect what is sacred and provide a frame where beauty can rest. This is why a man, when he meets a woman anchored in herself, either grows or runs. The archetype inside him chooses, the boy or the king. Archetypes are deep patterns of human story. Think of the queen, hers is sovereignty without noise. Think of Artemis, hers is the forest and the clear aim. Think of Persephone, hers is descent and return. Think of Lilith, hers is refusal to kneel where kneeling would mean erasure. These figures live in a woman's body like languages. When a woman remembers them, her life starts to speak in sentences of choice. A man hears these sentences and feels both the edge and the invitation. Come as you are, they say, but come as a whole. You might ask. Does she avoid love? No. She welcomes love like rain that arrives without command. She is not afraid to be held. She is only unwilling to be owned. Attachment is not a prison to her, it is a bridge. She knows the bridge must land on two solid shores. If a man steps onto the bridge with empty feet, she will wave with warmth and let him pass. If he comes with a past he refuses to meet, she will wish him courage and close her gate. Not as a punishment. As a promise kept with herself. Many were taught that love appears when people are needed. This is how families survive storms: be useful. Be available. Be small. Those lessons become masks. The dark feminine takes off the mask. Under the mask is a face with open eyes. That face says, "Love me because I am alive. Not because I fill a hole in you. Not because I am easy to carry. Love me because you have learned to carry yourself." In this posture, relationships stop being rescue missions and start being pilgrimages walked side by side. Some men will leave. Some will feel threatened by a woman with her own gravity. Some will test, just to feel that old boyhood power. Here, the test meets a mirror. The mirror says, "Go where your heart can rest, but do not carve your name into a door you have not earned." The woman's quiet refusal is not a lesson for him, it is a lifeline for herself. A person's time is their life. A person's attention is their altar. She decides what she worships. Contrast this with the woman who is tired of giving and tries to swing to the other extreme. She becomes stone. She refuses softness. She calls it strength but feels empty. The dark feminine is not this. The dark feminine is softness with a spine. It is a candle that will not set the house on fire just to prove it burns. It is a river that refuses to leave its banks, but anyone who sits by its edge will still be washed in music. Men crave this because healthy people crave health. It feels like home after a war. Imagine a scene. A man reaches for her phone to check who she speaks to. Her hand closes over the device without anger. She meets his eyes and says, "This is mine." Silence. The old stories rush in him: abandonment, betrayal, control. He wants to argue. He wants to win. Then he sees it. Her face is calm. There is no shard of secret in it. Just a person who does not trade privacy for peace. He stands at a doorway. He can either break it or knock. If he knocks, he will learn a new language, trust with 2 keys. The draw of the woman who doesn't need him carries another layer. She represents the life he once promised himself, a life not ruled by approval, a life devoted to values. Stoic clarity whispers in her choices, "Let what happens, happen. Choose what to do next." She does not lash the sea or beg the winds. She trims the sail and steers. The sight of this steadiness pulls him into his own cockpit. He notices his own hands on the wheel. He realizes he has been a passenger in his own boat for years. Now the craving evolves. It is no longer for her attention. It is for his own authority. You may feel the threads of old pain tightening as these ideas move. The body will try to negotiate. If I release need, will love leave? The mind will bring evidence from long ago. Acceptance means loneliness. These are ghosts, not guides. Need is the wish to be rescued. Love is the wish to be known. One smothers. The other breathes. The woman who does not need a man is fully capable of deep love. Her love is not a net. It is a field. People can run and return without getting tangled. He feels that space and learns to exhale without fear. The child inside every person watches closely here. The inner child listens for the sound of safety. Safety sounds like consistent truth. The woman who speaks true, even when it costs her company, becomes a choir in a quiet room. She says no and keeps her jaw soft. She says yes and keeps her eyes open. This is how she mothers herself. This is how she refathers her own life. This is how she becomes a village within one body. Men are not children to her. They are travelers. If a traveler enters the village with respect, the gates open. If a traveler throws stones, the gates do not move. A word on seduction. Seduction is often taught as a trick, but art without honesty rots fast. The most magnetic quality in any person is congruence. When speech, values, and actions line up, the nervous system of others relaxes. He does not chase because he cannot catch. He moves closer because nothing is hiding, and nothing is up for sale. The price of entry is the same for everyone. Show up with your own heart in your own hands. The woman who needs nothing is not above desire. She simply refuses to use desire as currency. Now watch the tide shift inside him. At first, he comes for fire. He wants to test his power against her boundary. Fire meets stone and makes sparks. But then he notices the hearth. He notices the steady flame that cooks real meals and warms cold rooms. He notices that love is not a hunt, it is a home. The boy in him sits down. The man in him ties on an apron. The archetype of the king awakens not in conquest but in service. He does not kneel to her, he kneels to his own vow, to be the kind of person who can hold what is beautiful without trying to own it. Projection begins to fall away when reality is allowed to arrive. He learns her edges. He sees her mess. He watches her disagree with grace. He discovers she laughs at herself. He learns that mystery is not secrecy, it is depth. This kind of seeing melts the idea of her as an idol and lets her be human. Here, craving turns to connection. Here, he discovers that the woman who doesn't need him can still want him, which is a different and braver music. Want without need is a clean flame. It lights a room and does not consume it. You may feel a question stirring: how does one become this kind of woman? The mind wants a recipe. The heart wants a path. The path is simple and not easy. Return to yourself each day. Sit for a few minutes in quiet. Ask the body what it needs. Listen without arguing. Speak one more true sentence than yesterday. Let no be a gift to your nervous system, not a weapon. Let yes be a trust you build with yourself, not a bribe you give others. Choose friends who clap for your boundaries. Choose work that honors your soul, even if the steps are small and slow. This is not a trick to get love. This is love. On the days that ache, remember individuation, the Jungian word for growing into the whole of who one is. Individuation does not mean walking alone. It means walking awake. It means gathering all the lost parts, child, warrior, lover, judge, dreamer, and letting them sit together at one table. It means looking into the shadow and harvesting strength. It means taking off the armor one plate at a time, until the skin can feel the sun. As this process settles, the question "who will choose me?" becomes smaller, and the question "what am I choosing?" becomes bright. Men notice this brightness. Even those who do not yet know how to love it, notice. They feel less like owners and more like guests. Good men will ask what they can bring. They will knock. They will take off muddy shoes. They will listen to the house rules and offer their own. They will leave if the fit is wrong and will bless the door on their way. This is not a fairy tale. It is a practice. It is the practice of love as two sovereigns sharing bread under one roof. Not every story ends in partnership. Some seasons are meant for solitude. Solitude is not punishment, it is a workshop. Inside it, crafts are learned: silence, gentleness, self-approval. The woman who doesn't need a man is allowed to enjoy aloneness and allowed to enjoy togetherness. Both are gifts. Both can be sacred. The craving from others during these times might rise and fall. Let it. People are allowed to want. People are allowed to learn from wanting. This is how freedom teaches. If there is a secret in all of this, it is not secret at all. Self-worth is not a math problem. It is a birthright. Being valuable is not earned by tending to other people's storms. It is recognized by tending to the inner garden until it blooms. Flowers do not apologize for fragrance. They also do not chase bees. They open. Bees come. If not today, then tomorrow. If not this field, then another. The sun keeps rising. The soil keeps teaching. The gardener grows wise. A final image. Two people meet at a river. She does not stand on the bank begging him to swim. He does not stand on the rocks demanding she drown in his currents. Each learns to float in their own water. When they join palms, it is not to pull or to save. It is to enjoy the sky reflected in both streams. This is love without grasping. This is intimacy without debt. This is the soft, strong, quiet heart of the dark feminine and the awake, reliable heart of the mature masculine greeting each other like dawn and day. If a longer, extended version is desired for a full hour of narration, that can unfold in chapters of deeper story, ritual, and dialogue. For now, let the core remain simple, clear, and near. Belong to yourself so completely that love becomes a choice, not a cure. And let anyone who comes to you arrive with their own wholeness in hand. Be the woman who is already home.